So what do you know about the Power Query? Mention in the chat box. What do you know about Power Query? Nothing?
It is a business analytic tools.
नहीं. Anyone else? Who was asking for Power Query again and again? Abhimanyu कहाँ है? Okay. Now, how do you create any report? Tell me that process first. Data connectivity. Vimla is saying data connectivity. To some extent, that's correct. Customize the data. Kuldeep is saying it's a powerful tool for data preparation and analysis tasks. Okay, halfway correct. So guys, you will not be able to create any report if your data is not clean. If your data is not ready, it's not in a tabular format, you will not be able to do your pivot tables. You will struggle to write your formulas, okay, and so many things. And the problem is this data or data preparation is a regular task. Tanmay, switch off. Tanmay, everyone please mute yourself. Only unmute when you want to say something, okay, not by default. Okay. So data cleaning, once, if it is a one-time job, then we can do it easily. Now, what kind of data cleanings you do in Excel? Whenever you see a data, let me show you some data sets. And then you suggest me what kind of things are required. Let me know once my screen is visible. Audio, video, screen, all three things fine?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay. Now, mention in the chat box, what all things do you think are required in this data set? Is this data clean? I got it downloaded from a system. Okay. Nobody has prepared it manually. Now, is this workable?
No.
What are the problems with this data set?
So we have additional blank rows.
You have additional blank rows.
Yes.
You have some initial rows which are not important.
Not required. Yeah.
Then you are having some blank rows, 1 or 2 blank rows. Then here also some unnecessary rows. Then if you click here, do you see how many columns are joined together? If you try to create a pivot table on this data set, pivot table will say, sir, sorry, I cannot work.
The merged cells to be unmerged. Or
unmerging, and then unmerging will result in so many blank columns. Pivot tables do not work with blank columns. You will have to delete them manually. And the problem is this data will, the same structure will come when you will download it next time from the system, because it is coming from the system. Let me show you this one. Same problems, similar ones. Blank rows. Spelling is wrong. Okay. And here price is given, unit sales is given. So we need to calculate the revenue also. How much is the total sales value? Okay. Then some unmerging is happening. So let's say Akhilesh is responsible for selling all these items. But when you unmerge, then Akhilesh, Meena will go in the first line only. Others will be represented by blank. So there is no salesman for those lines. Then what do? You take the corner, you double click or you drag it down, and that's how you fill it, or some other tricks you will do. Let me show you some more examples of unclean data set or clean data set. How many people think that this is a perfect data set of 4 or pivot tables? We can create pivot tables on this, right? No problem of blank rows, no merged cells, nothing, right? This is clean?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is clean. But can you create a slicer for months? Will you be able to create a filter or slicer for months? If I ask you to select, okay, can you show me just Jan, Feb, March, total sales of Jan, Feb, March? Can you create a slicer or a timeline? No.
No.
Because slicers are possible for the values of a single column. If I create Fab as a slicer, then I will see these values in the Fab slicer. I will not have any single column which can give me Jan, Feb, March, April up to December as the values in that slicer. So this is also not a clean data set or a right data set to do further analysis. Like to some extent it can be done, but it will not be like complete analysis. You will get stuck or you will get restricted in some places. Let me show you this one. Okay. So Kajol has sold on this date, this type of order. These are the SKU codes. And then this is the shipping mode as well as the container. I want to split this information. How do you split? You will use left, right, mid functions. You will use text after functions, text to column functions. So many things you will use to split the information. Sometimes you want to merge the information. Sometimes you want to calculate the month out of this order date or quarter out of this order date, year out of this order date. So all these are part of data preparation. If not data cleaning, at least data preparation. Okay. And one-stop solution for all this is Power Query. And believe me, guys, I started learning macros in 2013. And if Power Query was not launched, I would have mastered macros also. But problem is this was launched and then I started fulfilling my needs through this and then no macros. This doesn't make macros redundant, but whatever my needs were there, Power Query fulfilled all those needs. And this tool is available in Excel in the data tab. So if you see these two sections, these are related to Power Query. Now, what is the role of Power Query? Power Query's role is these three things. Okay. One is extract the data. So you need to pull the data. Sometimes you download it yourself. Sometimes your colleagues will give you. Sometimes it is available in your email. Sometimes it is available in a database, Oracle, SQL, Access, Excel files, CSV file, PDFs, web browser, Facebook, your email exchange. You need to get data from somewhere. So one of the major role of Power Query is extract the data. Then once it is extracted in its raw form, then what happens? You need to transform it so that you can make pivot tables, Power Pivots, Power BI reports out of that data. So this transformation is restructuring or cleaning. Okay. And then comes the load part. So once it is extracted, you need to prepare or clean it or transform it, and then you load it to the tools like pivot tables or Power Pivots or Excel or Power BI. Okay. So that is the role of Power Query. Now, in short, these kind of tools are known as ETL. This is a free tool since 2013. Okay. And what all things it can do? It can extract data from 100+ data sources. It can transform data columns to rows, rows to columns, delete. It can combine data sets from multiple sheets, from multiple files. And the good part is whatever you will do, you will mostly do 99% of the task from the user interface. You don't need to learn any kind of programming. And all those tasks will be remembered. They will be noted down. Power Query will note each and every step. Okay. So next time your work is just to refresh the data. And what kind of things you do? Sometimes you rename columns. Sometimes you replace wrong spellings or error values. Sometimes you create new columns for some calculations. Sometimes you combine columns for the new columns. Sometimes you split. Sometimes you merge. Okay. You format columns. You extract something out of them. Okay. And unpivoting, pivoting. Okay. These are some additional, like sometimes you will transpose the data set. So these things are all possible. More than these, I've just listed few of them. Okay, these are the common ones which you will use. Similarly, for the rows, you will delete it from the top, you will delete it from the bottom. Sometimes blank rows will be required to be deleted, alternate rows. Sometimes you will delete duplicate values. So all these things you are doing manually. And here also you will do same way. Only thing is that step will be recorded. And because of recording, it will be automatically executed next time. And if there is any change in your data set, you just refresh it and then it will execute the same number of steps. Exactly same thing, whatever we are seeing here, that it can connect to, so you can get data from file. In the file category, you have Excel. You can take it from CSV file, PDF, from a folder, from a SharePoint folder. Database. What is your database? Think of the database which you have in your company. By the way, IT will not allow that. But let's say they are creating a data warehouse which you can connect to. So most probably it will be Access, SQL, Oracle, SAP. These are the databases which you deal with. You can connect with so many online services. You can connect with Salesforce directly. You can connect with your Office 365 account to analyze your data set on your email. Who is sending how many mails at what time, how many mails you are replying, how much time you take, okay? How many of them have attachments. Now, if I show you the interface in Power BI, this is Power BI window. Here also you have get data, and these are the common categories. The number of sources in Power BI is little bit larger than the Excel one. Functionalities are similar. But if you see here, the online sources will be like a lot more. Just a minute, it is loading. So whatever we have learned in pivot tables, now your job is, before doing pivot tables, I told you to create a table. Before doing that, you need to process it through Power Query. Even if it is clean data, process it through Power Query. Tomorrow, if it is not clean, at least you can handle that situation without impacting your outer interface or dashboards or reports. They will not be impacted. In the backend, you can manage Power Query again, and your data will be clean. So I was showing this, right? So file category, similar to Excel, it is having this additional one. Database category, it is having many more items. You can see the list, how big it is in comparison to Excel. If you look at online sources, there were hardly 6-7 online sources there. Look at this list. It can connect from Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics. And these connectors are getting like they are increasing every month. Power BI is adding 1 to 2 connectors every month. Okay. So now how to learn it? Those who are already having Power BI course, right? Some of you already started. Section 2 deals with Power Query already to a great extent. Now, what I thought that some of you who would like to learn Power Query, but maybe not Power BI right now, so they should also learn this data cleaning tool or data preparation tool. So I created this additional course which is much more extensive than the Power Query in Power BI section. And it covers all these things. And the course access is already given to whoever was part of the offering for Power Query. Just 1 hour back, it has been sent to you, and you can see it in your login, and you can start it right now. After the session, you can start. If any problems are there, we will resolve it in a couple of days at the max, but you can start with all the sessions. You will have the practice files, which you can use to complete all these exercises. How to remove duplicates, how to import data from a text file, how to unpivot data, what is unpivoting. You will also learn that thing.
It
Okay.
is in Excel.
This is all in Excel.
Okay, that's fine. Because we already Power BI. Thank you, sir.
Okay. It is not in Power BI. I have used the Excel interface, but exactly same things can be done in Power BI interface also. So whatever you will learn, you can use it whichever platform you want to. Okay. Ultimately, Power BI will have little better capabilities, but whatever I have covered, it can be done in both the platforms. Okay. Now, let us try to do a simple exercise so that when you start the course, you will be more comfortable. Okay. I will close all the files and we will pick one of them. Let's take this one. Simple. Okay. This data set is there. We are having employee codes and we are having so many blank rows. We are having employee codes again and again, like E004. I have done the conditional formatting so that we can see what is duplicate. And this is the clean data set from this data set. How to achieve it? Okay. So 1 or 2 simple exercises we will do. Rest of the things you can continue in the course and devote your own sweet time. Go slowly, not an issue, but start learning Power Query. Every report, before creating any report, you should take it through Power Query. That is must if you want to save time in future. Okay. Now, so first of all, is this a table or not a table? This one. Is this a table or not a table?
Not a table, sir.
Not a table.
Stable, sir.
Do you see this table design? This is a table. Okay, this is a table. And I will close all the files. Let's say this one, this one, and I will keep these 3. Okay, fine. This one also I will close. So when you go into the data tab, this is the data which I want to prepare further or clean further. When you go inside the data tab, what do you see? You can see get data. But when you want to utilize the data set from the existing file, you can select that data set. And to use the data from the existing file, Power Query wants it in a table format. It doesn't work with ranges. Okay, it needs a table format. In this case, table is already there, right? So let's say here get data, you don't need to go. This is generally for external sources. If there was an external file, Excel file, from where we need to pick the data, then we will go from this route. If your data is already in the current file, current Excel file, then you have this option of from table/range. Okay. So I am here inside this table, and then I will click on from table or range. And it has opened an additional window. I will show it to you as soon as it is loaded. So this is the Excel file. This is the another window which has opened with me, Power Query Editor. And what it has done, it has picked the data set from that table. Look at this. This was the original data set, 4 columns, and this is the new data set. Now, here you will see the names of the sheets or the tables from where you have picked the data. Currently, it has picked the random name, table 1, whatever was it. We can come here and we can change it to, let's say, employee underscore data, some pattern name we can give. So that name is done. We can minimize this window. Now, this is the read-only view of your data set, which you are going to clean further. Okay. And this is your interface. At the top, you have several options which can help you in cleaning the data. And we will use few of them in this exercise. On the right side, this is applied steps. And that's where Power Query will note each and everything which you will do with this data set. Okay. So looking at this, so whatever you see here, you need to take further actions based on this view. This is the current status of the data. So what do you think? What is the next step which you need to do? What should be the next step which we should do?
So empty
Anyone?
columns to be removed.
Sorry?
Null
columns
need to be removed. Empty
One
cell,
at a time, please.
empty cells need to be removed.
Empty cells need to be removed. Okay. Or in this case, if a particular row is having multiple empty cells or all the empty cells, then it is a blank row also. Okay. So blank rows needs to be removed. So how to remove it? In Excel, we generally select and then press delete, right? Here that doesn't work because you will be dealing with thousands of rows. Is it humanly possible to select each of the row which you want to delete? Maybe not, right? If you're dealing with 500,000 rows, you cannot go and select. That's why that option is not given. But if, let's say, this date, you don't want it part of your analysis and you want to delete it, the columns can be deleted. So you select the column and press delete and it is gone. Whatever you see here, that will be available for pivot table or Power BI or whichever tool you want to utilize this data in. So columns, we can delete. Rows, we cannot delete. There are some other sections for that. And look at this. I just deleted a column and it has noted down, removed a column. So next time, if needed, it will execute same set of steps. If you don't want that happen, okay, so I will delete this step by clicking on this cross sign and that will be undone. So my deleted column is back because this is just a fictitious layer on top of your data set. It is not touching the original data set of Excel from where you pulled it. Okay, it is a process on top of your original data. So let's go back. We wanted to remove blank rows. And if you see here, green, gray, so this tells you the summary of your column. And there are certain data types associated with each column. So this is a date column. So date calendar is there. This is a text column. So ABC is there. Similarly, for any numeric columns, you will see 1, 2, 3 or 1.2, these kind of things. So all the possible data types, these are the possible data types. So if I click on this icon, you will see the data types. Because what happens, sometimes Power Query may not be able to guess it correctly. So you need to come here and select the right data type based on your understanding of the data. Okay. Now, our problem was how to remove the blank rows. So there is a simple solution here. If I go in the Home tab, here there is an option of remove rows. If I go inside that, remove blank rows. There is a direct option available for that. When I click on that, all the blank rows are gone. And this step is noted. Next step is, if you remember, the employee codes were coming again and again. E004, E07, all these pink ones, they were coming again and again. So what can be done? If you select employee code, because your duplicates are based on employee codes, which column will define whether it is a duplicate or not. So you need to select that column. And here in the remove row section again, you will say remove duplicate. And now it is giving us only 23 lines, while earlier you can see there were roughly 34, 35 lines. Okay. And then it is a date time, but original column was having dates. So there is no time component. And anyways, it is all 12 o'clock, 12 midnight, right? So we can come here and we can say that this is only a date. And this is also a date. Now everything looks clean. Whatever we wanted is already done. And you can close and load. Now this gives various options where to load. If you just click on close and load, it will generate a new sheet which will have this clean version of the data set. And to check it, so this is the clean version of that data. Now, how does it help? Let's say next time someone added these lines at the bottom of the table. So this is a new data set, right? So some more impurities are there. What we need to do is right click and refresh. And you can see nothing has happened because it was all duplicate data. It has not impacted our final output. Currently, number of rows are 24. Now, what if I try to generate a new row? It is, let's say, not E024, it is E124. And my passport number is, okay, my passport number is something like INC and a random date of 2019. Fine. Now, currently number of lines are 24. If I refresh, you can see one additional line is there. So I'm not going through the same process again and again. My data is updated and it will take care of adding new rows. And if I delete something, let's say I delete all these lines, plus I delete few more lines like these from my original table. And when I refresh, let's check it here itself. Refresh, and the number of lines have decreased. So it follows the process of original data. In between, Power Query is there, which is having multiple steps, which you have like done. And then it is giving you the final output. What happens here can be changed at any point of time. Okay, because if I need to go back and I can double click, it opens my Power Query window again. It opens my Power Query window. And if I need to change or tweak any of these steps, I can do. Like the issue date, I want to rename it as passport issue date. So I've double clicked and changed the name. And now when I close and load, currently it is issue date. Now it is passport issue date. Okay, so you can modify these steps. If you have applied 10 steps, you can add 2 more. If you have applied 10 steps, maybe 2 of them are not required and you can delete them. Okay, all those things are possible. And by the way, each and every step and all the features, you will see it in the course, but some of the main things I will show you here. So let's say passport issue date is there, but maybe your company or your HR team is looking for the year of passport date, when it was issued. That year is important for them, not the actual date. So how will you do it? In Excel, you will write some formulas like year function or text function. Here, what you need to do, you can go to add columns. You can go to date and you can say that year and what do you want? Start date of the year, end date of the year, or just the year. So if I click on year, it creates an additional column which gives me an year. If let's say I'm looking for the month of issue, and month as in not 02 or 12 or 03, I'm looking for Feb, December, or March, which is difficult, right? Text function is required for that. So here I will go to date again, add column, and here month and name of the month. And that will give me my month names. So how many formulas you will say upon? So first of all, you're not using a lot of formulas. I'm not saying that you will use 0 formulas. You will use, but you will minimize them through Power Query. And second, it is automated. Okay, I was recommending you formulas because they are always active. They are always working. They are very hard working guys, right? So here, Power Query is always working for you. Only thing is, whenever any change is there, you need to refresh it, to update through the process, to pull the data from that process and then give you the final output. Okay. Questions, guys? Let me see. So many things are there in the chat box. Okay, these are all old ones. Fine, sure, Raman, nothing is missed. We were just discussing the introduction at that time. Yes, guys, questions? Are you able to imagine that how much it will help you?
Yes. Akhilesh, I have a query.
Yes, Sumesh.
What happened is I receive a report on a like a report with a name, specific name. Every week I'll be receiving. When I input those data with one time, if the name of the Excel or the name of the file is changed, still the Power Query will work on this, or how
No,
it is?
like it depends on the situation again, but Power Query is quite like dependent on some things like file name, sheet name, table names, and column names. If any of them gets changed, the query might fail. The query might fail. The rows are not that
Okay.
important, but columns or the structure of the data is important. The location of the data is important. Okay, and all these things, once we go through each and every video, you will understand what is important, what you should not touch, what you should keep constant. All those things you will understand. Like in this case, if I go to this passport sheet and if I change the original date, because you saw that I changed it to passport issue date, right? What if I change this itself to
Yes.
passport issue date? Okay, that's the new name which I have given. Very soon you will see problem.
Okay.
Why? Because it is dependent on a process, and in that process you said that issue date needs to be named to passport issue date. Now it is not able to find issue date. So how will it rename to passport issue date? So we need to
No,
keep
it will
those
not
things
work.
in mind, but that is our behavior. It is not the problem of Power Query. It is our behavior. So we need to keep ourselves a little bit disciplined. Maybe sometimes things are in our control, sometimes things are not in our control, but we need to keep other party or other people aligned who are providing us data, that please keep it constant. If you're giving me like unclean data, no problem, but keep the like uncleanness same as last year. Okay. So what I was saying, that if there are some like data issues, let those data issues be persistent. They should not change every time. Okay. If they are changing again and again, then be it Power Query, be it macros, nothing will help you. All these automations are dependent on
because
yeah. Continue, please.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, actually, it is like a weekly report that I receive on every Monday or Tuesday. So that report will be named under like Monday 17th August, or next week it will be 23rd August. Like that, it will be receiving. But the
Okay.
data set is unique only. The each and every column is unique in that.
So there are two ways. Okay. And again, we will be able to discuss these things better once you go through the course. But there are two ways.
Okay.
If you are getting your data from a file, then your name needs to be constant. There is no other solution. But what if I say that you are getting not from a file, you are getting from a folder which is having that file? So maybe you create your query in such a way that you are not dependent on the name of the file. It is possible.
A constant name. Yeah, constant name.
So folder name can be constant. Whenever you receive it, just paste it in that folder.
Okay.
Even if it is having that tag of, okay, this is 16th of August. Okay, you ignore that. You don't consider the name at all.
Okay.
Okay, you deal with the content inside, not the name of
Yes.
it is possible, but ideally the name should also be constant.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thanks. Thanks, Akhilesh.
Okay.
Where is this course available?
It is available to you, I guess, or maybe I will share it if it is not there.
Because I checked just now, so I didn't get anything new.
Okay, we will see, because whenever we started offering it, it is already given to all those students. And if some of the very old students who got our course on a very low price, okay, so they can purchase it additionally also. So we will discuss that separately, one-to-one basis, okay, but it will be provided if needed. Okay, guys. I guess the first time when I offered this course was 28th May. So we have already given it after that, unless someone has like purchased a single course, not the bundle. So no problem, just check it. If it is not there, connect with us. We will, if we have missed it, we will add it to you. If not missed, then you can purchase it also. We will share you the discounted price for our past students. Okay. Next question on Power Query. No question? Okay, let's do one more exercise.
In some options, it's written that pivot or unpivot. Just
Yes.
want to understand that.
Pivot or unpivot? Okay. Look at this. What are the informations which are visible in this data set? If someone asks you, how many informations are available in this data set?
Month and country name information.
What all things? Country name.
Month-wise
and
location.
months. Look,
So location or country name, same thing. That's one information.
And we can get to that the country-wise submission and the submission in the month-wise submission that we can do in such a way.
So
there are
month is
there are
there.
two variables are there. from
No,
the two
there are three
variables.
variables in total. One is
I
numeric.
think sales is there, whatever,
Yeah, you can say sales or whatever it is.
sales or any
One
variable.
numeric information, let's call it
Hmm.
sales. Second one is month, and third one is the country or the location. These are the three things which are available. Now, what is the ideal format of the data? The data should be like this: location, month, and sale. That's the best, which pivots like Power Pivots like or Power BI likes. Now, your job is to change this into that one. Because if you have this one, then you can manipulate it whichever way possible. But if you have this one, you will be restricted. So how do you do that? Now, if you look back your pivot is having four structures, right? Let's say these are the four sections of pivot. This one is filter. This one is column. This one is row. And this one is values, right? Don't you think that this was created using a pivot where location was in row section and month was in column section and sale was in value section, right? So this is the pivot structure. And to make it like this, you need to unpivot it.
Okay.
Okay? Because if that structure is there, you can easily create it in 2 seconds by dragging and dropping in these three sections. But from this to this, it is not that easy. Correct? So now, how to do this? And this time I will do it from an external file. So data is here. Let's check 21 columns to rows. Okay. I will close this file and I will open a blank file.
Please use any text format files.
No, let's start with Excel first. This is the first session. Okay. Let's not go deep, complex. Okay.
Okay.
And all those videos are there in the text, the course itself. Okay. So go through them. So I open any Excel file. And in this, sorry, where is that? This one. In this Excel file, I need to use this data set and I want to transform it into those three columns. Fine. So I will go to data. Data is not available in the current file, right? So I will have to go through get data from a file and from Excel file. Where is that file? I need to locate it. So I will go back here, copy this path because that will be required to locate my file. It is asking for a path, Power Query. So I will paste it here. And file number 21. This was the file. Once that file is connected, it will show me the sheets in that file. Same like Power BI, those who have started Power BI. So in Excel, you have an option of directly copy pasting, right? In Power BI, you don't have any option to escape Power Query. You have to go through Power Query. That's the only solution. And that's why I'm recommending that whatever reports you are creating in Excel, make it a habit that you always go through Power Query. And your life will be simpler. Okay. Now, we were having this. So it can recognize the sheet. We were having the table also. It can recognize the table separately. So sheet separately, table separately, it can recognize both of them. So let's pick any one of them. Then we have transform data because we want to make certain changes. And that's the Power Query window. Name of the sheet is there. If you want to change it, you can change. I am not interested in that. Location is there, and these are the months. Now what I will do, I will select these months And then I will say right click, and there's an option of unpivot columns, because these columns were part of pivoting. Someone who has created that structure must have used pivot somewhere. So I am saying please unpivot that. These columns which I have selected, unpivot. And in one single step, I am getting what was the best format. And then I can just rename it as month, location, month, and these values, whatever it was, you can rename it or you can leave it like that. And then close and load. And this will give you the clean 3 columns, which you can use further. And it is connected to that external file. Anything happens to that external file, you just need to refresh it and it will update the data set. So that's the unpivoting part. Now let's say this is the data set and you want to pivot it. You want to make it like the earlier one. So you can use pivot tables, right? But inside Power Query also, you have certain options of pivoting. So if I go to transform tab here, you have an option of pivoting. So if I select month column and if I say pivot column, it will create new columns based on the values of this column. And that is what pivot was doing, right? And it is asking, where do you want to take the numeric values? So I will say, take it from the value column. Use the names in the column month to create new columns. So these values will be used to create further new columns, and these values will be allocated based on the combination of location and those new columns, which are months. And I click OK. That's my original structure. So if you receive something like this, you can achieve this. If you receive something like this, you can achieve this also. So both ways you can go, pivot, unpivot. These are the two like faces of the same coin. Clear?
It's just same like Power BI. All the options are same.
All the options are same. So I would suggest if someone is having Power BI in the organization, start learning same thing through Power BI, because that has little bit better capabilities.
Right.
That gets updated every month. So you
Okay.
might see new things in next month. Excel, same things are there, but it doesn't get updated that frequently. The number of data sources are not that frequent because Power BI is a new product. So they don't focus on the Power Query of Excel. Okay. Power BI, they are getting money. If someone wants to buy the license for the organization, right? Here, Excel, it is just an additional thing which is there for free. Okay. Next question.
So the same function is possible from PDF file?
Yes, to some extent, but not all the PDFs. If you scan your data and then you say, okay, extract data, it is not possible. But if you have a Word file and you saved it as PDF, then maybe it can extract something from that.
Okay.
Okay. So do not depend
Yes.
heavily on key. It will like extract everything from the PDF. It will try to, but maybe not in some situations. It depends on how your PDF structure is there.
Sir, what is the use of this analyzed data?
Analyze data. We will discuss sometime, some other time. It is like it will auto-generate pivot tables based on its like column informations and all. You might have attended AI workshop somewhere, right?
Yes.
Okay. Jatan Shah ने सिखाया होगा ना?
Jatan sir, I think somewhere we listen to that. I think we used to analyze data.
Okay. So current data I don't have. This is not a very like rich data set to practice. सिखाएंगे किसी दिन. Okay.
No, I think there is I think it may not be related to here. I think there is a one developer is there, not tab. So what other things would be there in the developer?
Developer tab, I use it mainly for dashboards to create
Okay.
option buttons, checkboxes and all.
Okay.
Rest of the use, I don't know, maybe programmers know. Okay. So I focus developer tab, and inside that, so either you can go through the macros if you want to access the macros or record a macro, or you can go and generate these buttons and all, which we use in our dashboards.
Okay. One of these first.
Yeah. Next.
I think we already opted Power Query also. Sorry, the Power BI also. Would it be possible to load these queries lessons in our Excel?
Will it be possible to load?
Because I may not get it this Excel or this Power Query lessons.
Okay, we will discuss that separately. Okay,
Okay,
let's not
that's fine.
discuss in general. Okay.
That's fine.
Next question.
If we have a duplicates within the data set, how to remove in Power Query or in Power BI? How to find it in if it is a duplicate?
So whenever you are cleaning any data set, okay, you need to be aware of the problems. If you're not aware, you cannot like create provision for that cleaning. So what happens? Whatever is visible to you as per your current understanding of the data, you create cleaning steps, and then you create your reports on the clean data set. And once you create your reports, then you realize, oh, my numbers are more than what it was, or maybe less than something. So you will validate your numbers also after that. And that's when you realize these additional hidden gaps between your data set, your clean data set, and what it was supposed to be. Okay. So that's when sometimes we realize, okay, these things are duplicate. And those who are using Power BI, okay, they will get to know this when they start creating relationships with the other table, because other table says here also duplicates, I am confused, please resolve this. And then you look into your data again, why the duplicates are coming. You will identify the reason of those duplicacy, and then you will try to resolve it. Okay. It is like a loop. You will clean something, then you will check. If it is not coming correct, you will again go back. Okay, maybe something else is there. And then
in the video you were teaching to remove duplicates, or if any spelling mistake there in the column. So if it is 1,000 and 10,000, we cannot go through in one by one. So as you said, we should.
You cannot. And Power Query is not meant for, let's say, if there is a column which is having 1,000 spelling mistakes. Power Query is not meant for that. Okay.
In Power BI we can.
No, when I say Power BI or Power Query, both are same. Okay.
Okay.
Because Power BI is also using Power Query to clean it, right? It is not a different like platform inside. It is the same thing.
Okay.
So what is Power BI? Power BI is a combination of three things. As I mentioned some time back, Power BI is Power Query, okay, Power Pivot, which is known as data model also, where relationships, calculations, all those things happen. And then you have visualization layer. Okay, so these three things, they are equivalent to PBI.
RB.
Okay. Now, when we are discussing Power BI, when we are discussing Power Query of Excel, it is that one component of Power BI. Power BI has more capabilities of analysis, visualizations, and other things. Okay. So only this cleaning capability between Excel, this part, and the Power BI Power Query editor, both are same. Okay. So you should compare only that part.
So is the conditional formatting is simple here in Power Query?
Conditional formatting is not part of Power Query. Conditional formatting comes after your data is clean, when you are creating reports and all.
Okay.
So that is possible in normal Excel, that is possible in Power BI also. Please, Okay.
Can we directly go and learn Power BI instead of going through this Power Query and all?
Yes, yes, you can. But again, Power Query, because Power BI is having many things, the course of Power BI, it is created in an overview manner. Okay. Here, because this course is dedicated to Power Query, I am going into much more details of certain aspects of Power Query.
Okay.
Okay. Their major
What is macro?
thing which I was covering in Power BI is to complete the loop of how to start with data, then what next, relationships, then cleaning, and then visualization, and then sharing. So many things needs to be covered. Okay. So that is a broad overview of the full journey. Inside that journey, if you want to learn more, this course can help you.
Okay.
Okay.
So that measures is available in Excel also?
Sorry,
Sir, measures available in Excel also?
measures, yes.
Measures. It
Measures,
is
it is
available in Excel only.
Power pivot,
Sir is
Power
explaining through
pivot,
Excel only.
measures, Power BI measures, both are same. The way of writing them is same. Formulas are same.
Sir, I want to ask one thing. What is macros and how can we use macros in the data analysis through this Power Query
Data
in use
analysis,
of the Excel?
macros and Power Query, they don't really directly contribute to data analysis. They contribute to some manual repetitive work. So they help in automating that work so that you can save time. Okay. Data analysis, pivot tables are helping, formulas are helping, Power BI is helping. Okay. Power Query or macros, they will not directly help you to data analysis. They will help you to clean something, to reach from one point to another point. Okay. To automate something. That is the role of macros and the Power Query.
So for the automation in Excel by using macros is macros uses codes uh, for the automation purposes of our data in Excel.
Again, automation of what and what all steps are inside that, like whatever you are accomplishing, that will define whether Power Query can do or macro can do or both of them cannot do. There is no direct like solution that these tools will be able to do each and everything. Okay, it depends on situation to situation. What you want to automate, if you explain that thing a little more, then I can suggest, okay, maybe Power Query is better fit or macro is a better fit.
So suppose like there is a large set of data and the data is related to the power consumption of the whole plant, and we need to figure out the power consumption as per the plant subsidiary wise and as per the machine wise, like there are compressors, there are chillers, there are what WTP plants, there are GIS systems, and so many production lines, different production lines. Like there is a one production line SMD, there is one production line, main line for generally for the production of mobiles, suppose. So we have to uh, figure out which sector consumes how much power. So we have a large set of data, which is called
How large it
which
is?
is
How big it
sir,
is?
it is having approximately 3000 rows of data in Excel. Suppose it is of 1 year data, and in the whole 1 year data, we have to figure out which sector consumes how much energy. So, can we do with the help of macros by writing the codes and get fetching the data into our worksheet? Yeah, instead of
So
applying Power Pivot and other Power Query tools. Yes.
I would suggest that you, whenever data analysis related things come, na, so then you should try to use Power BI or a combination of Power Query, Power Pivots, or pivot tables. Macros are meant for automating any task. in Excel, or macros are common to PowerPoint also, as well as Outlook. Like all of them can write macros. Okay. So in your situation, it is basically a reporting or a dashboarding need. You need certain questions to be answered from a data set which is readily available every time. Okay. So this is a problem of creating a report or a dashboard, which Power BI or Power Pivot or pivot tables, those kind of tools can do. Now, if your data set is already tabular, it is clean, then you don't need to go through Power Query. Okay. But if you are creating it in Power BI, you have to go through Power Query, because Power Query is the only gateway to access data from outside. But macros are not really required in this situation, as per my current understanding of what you have explained.
Sir, so can you please give me a scenario where we use macros as per the applicability of macros?
We can use macros. Okay, let's have, okay, I will share you the link of 2 sessions we have already had on macros. Okay, maybe that will guide you better.
Thank you, sir.
We have already taken 2 sessions on macros, doubt sessions. Both of them are 1 hour each. So maybe that will give you a better example what we can do. There is like lot of intersection between macros and Power Query. Okay, because both of them are automating certain procedure. So some things can be done with Power Query, some things can be done with macro, and some things can be done by both. Okay, macros will require a little bit of more technical knowledge, so you need to take time to learn that. Power Query can be learned very soon. Okay, because it doesn't require programming kind of things. Okay.
A question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, by using a Power Query, can we split the cell which contains the combination of alphanumerical?
Yes.
Could you please give us some example? For example, employee number and employee name, first name and second name, sorry, last name. So how are we going to split by using the Power Query?
So you check these sections and you will understand. I will not be able to like demonstrate each and everything. Okay. Check these options and you will be able to understand how to split it.
I have not enrolled for this, sir. So what is the process for this?
Okay. So then like
I would like to enroll for Power BI, both and Power Query as well.
okay, then drop us a message. But this section, how to split text in 5-6 variations, okay, based on when text is changing to numbers, based on some gap, based on the characters or some delimiter, all those things are explained in this course. Okay.
Sir, one question. I have a column. So I am entering 1, 2, 3 by pressing 1 Alt plus Enter, 2 Alt plus Enter, 3. So is this 3, 1, 2, 3 can be split into 3 rows? Because I have the 3 in one column, one cell, I mean to say. From one cell to 3 rows, it can be splitted.
If you have a separator between them, it can be splitted. And I think Power Query will be able to recognize what you like, the new line which you get after pressing that Alt Enter. Okay. So Power Query has this option of split text to rows. That means multiple rows, not multiple columns. I don't want multiple columns. I want the row by row split.
Yes.
So it's possible through Power Query. That's possible.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as it is having that Alt Enter, the one which you have mentioned, Power BI will identify, or Power Query will identify it. But if it is just appearing because of a wrapping of the text, then it will not be able to consider that. So it needs some pattern and it will be able to split it.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Next question, guys.
Sir, it is regarding the slicer. So
Okay.
when I am taking the insert and slicer, So in my laptop, it is saying that connections in the network, no connections found. So how can I do that?
Add to data model.
No, he is talking about slicers.
So connections are not there, na? So connections will be built by adding the
Yeah.
data to the data model.
How can I enable that?
It is slicers. The data model is backend thing. Okay. He's talking about slicers. Do you have that, Naresh? Do you have that sheet somewhere? Can you show it now?
Actually, it is in my laptop, but I opened in my mobile. So
Okay.
and
So
also
send
it
it
is
in the
confidential.
WhatsApp group, and then I will try to answer it. Okay. Now there are two kind of connections, which one which Kajal is mentioning, and another one which is slicer two pivot table connections. Maybe there are multiple pivot tables, and you are creating slicer from one of the pivot tables, so other tables are not interactive. Okay, so that is a different kind of connection. You click the slicer, and then in the like slicer menu. So let's create something from here. This needs to be a pivot first. And then let's say we create a slicer, this. And then we create one more pivot on this data set. That's mentioned here. Now this slicer was created from this, right? And let's put the numbers also, numbers of Jan and numbers of Feb in this case. So that's 9100, that's 10,700. When I click on, let's say, India, this is changing, this is not changing. So that is one kind of connection issue, that this slicer needs to be connected to this pivot also, because ultimately data is common, and as long as data is common, it can be connected. So you click on the location, go to slicer, and here you have report connections.
Right.
It will mention all the pivot tables which can be connected to this slicer. And in this case, pivot 2 is not connected, so we connect it. And now this is changing both the pivots. Okay, so that's one kind of connection, if maybe that is the issue. Second connection is what Kajal was referring is in power pivots. So when you are having multiple tables, okay, and there is something common between them, and you have created your pivot by using fields from both the tables, then it says, okay, connections are missing or connections are possible. Okay, so that scenario will only come in power pivot. It will not come in normal pivots. So you find something common between them and try to connect them, and that message will go away. But it is not necessary that every pivot every table in the data model needs to be connected. If something common between them is there and you are in need of that connection, then only connect. Otherwise, no need.
Yeah, okay, sir. Sir, I observed that in the videos, as of now, I completed 20%, but in the 20%, two videos, there is no audio, sir.
Mention which one, just comment there and mention us on like personal WhatsApp chat, and we will try to fix it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll ping in WhatsApp.
Which course you are talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about the function keys, sir, the first session.
Excel.
The date, time, numbers, freezing pane, printing. So that session I'm talking about.
Okay, so just mention the name of those sessions, but I don't think that's the case, because otherwise other people would have notified us long back. Okay, but we will still check. Okay.
So Achilles, if we have created more than two slices, and if we need to connect with more than two pivot tables, still we follow the same procedure. Click
Same
on both
procedure.
the
So
both
there are two things, Shivaraman.
Yeah.
One is connect slicer with pivots.
Correct.
Second process is connect pivots with slicers. Now you identify the things which are less in number. So let's say I'm having 10 pivot tables, which I want to control with one single or two slicers, then I will go slicer route. I will select the slicer, go to slicer settings and report connections, and then it will show me 10. So in one single step, I can take all 10. But think of it. I am having 10 slicers and there are only 2 pivots.
Okay.
Now, if I have to go through slicer route, I will have to go and repeat this process 10 times for each slicer.
Correct.
So what I will do, I will not go through slicer. I will select the pivot. And inside pivot properties, you have filter connections, which all filters, because slicer is nothing but a filter. So which all filters to connect, and it will show you list of all the 10 slicers.
Okay.
So whichever is less in number, enter through that route. The action which is happening is same, but the efforts will be different in both the cases. And if you are having 3 slicers and 4 pivot tables, it generally doesn't matter because both of them are equal in number. So you will spend same time.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Sir, like in Word, we have a review tab and we have in Excel also. In Word document, when we edit through that, so we can open the tracker and we can just edit whatever we want to do. So can it be done through the Excel also? Can we edit?
Never tried. Generally, it is useful when you are using a SharePoint file or Teams file, which is accessible to multiple people.
Like if I receive any file from my partner school and I have to check whether it is fine or not, and I have to highlight the things which are not correct. So I think review tab can do this, because in Word it can be done.
It show changes and all, but to be frank, I have never used it because my domain was generally the data analysis side, which doesn't keep track of these things. Okay. So try it and let us know, and you take a session on this. Why not? You are teaching so many things. I see your LinkedIn, or I guess maybe Instagram. You are teaching every day. PowerPoint is there. She's having 10 students sitting next to her. Okay. So she can take some sessions, and she's already completed almost both the courses also, right? So I will pick few topics and then you can take those.
Sure.
Okay. Next question, guys. No questions? Then shall we close?
Yes.
Okay. One more thing, guys. I am recently trying few things. Okay. And we are trying to collaborate with other knowledgeable people. And that's why if you are in your old WhatsApp group from where you entered this particular community, okay, the original pivot table WhatsApp group, you might see certain informations or update related to other webinars. Okay. I have recently collaborated with a person named Sandeep Gupta. Okay. He's a wealth coach. Now, all of us who are here, ultimately our main goal is to become financially free, to save more money, to grow that money, right? So he's good in that skill. And he was happy to offer a free webinar to our student community. So that will be happening very soon, and it will happen multiple times. So we will try it out. If people are interested, then we will continue. Otherwise, we will stop. Similarly, there was a person named Dipanshu. He's good in Instagram. Okay, some of you might be interested in Instagram, how to grow your personal brand, and then because of that brand, maybe you start earning second income or something like that. So that is also communicated. We will see the traction, which particular topic is more liked by all of you, and then we will see if we want to continue with that or not. I'm also trying to collaborate with another person. So Excel and Power BI, Power Query, these things will make you skillful. Okay. But उसके बाद भी लड़ाई आपको करनी है to get the promotion and hike, right? Your boss may listen, not listen, or how to find the job. So I'm trying to collaborate with another entity. Again, last 2-3 weeks से follow up कर रहा हूँ, but अभी तक response नहीं आया है. So that person is good in like nurturing you, how to talk to your HR, your boss, or how to like get more and more interviews. So I'm trying my best to get all the skills जो मेरे को नहीं भी आती हैं, वो फिर मैं कहीं और से आउटसोर्स करके आप तक पहुंचाऊंगा. ठीक है. एंड देन लेट्स सी कुछ फायदा होता है तो, अदरवाइज अपना एक्सेल पावर भी है तो चल ही रहा है. ठीक है.
Intention is good.
Yes, intention is good, and let's see how it goes. And we are doing it in batches, so some of you might see those updates, some of you will not see those updates. I am not spamming our main group with all these things. Okay, so they will come to you. If you are interested, be there in that pivot table group. Don't exit. Okay, if you exit, you will not get the update. Simple. Okay. So if someone is exited, that means उसको उसका ज्ञान मिल चुका है, अब वो और कुछ सीखना नहीं चाहता.
मैंने
तो
किसी
ठीक
भी
है.
ग्रुप से एग्जिट नहीं किया अभी तक.
हाँ, तो आई एम नॉट सेइंग. सो जनरली क्या होता है कि व्हेनेवर वी पोस्ट एनीथिंग, 3 बंदे निकल लेते हैं. ओके, सो नो प्रॉब्लम. ठीक है, उनको जो सीखना था पिवट टेबल सीख लिया, खुश रहो. पिवट टेबल से काम चलाओ. आगे जब आएंगे, व्हेन दे विल सी यू लाइक अहेड ऑफ देम, तो देन दे विल थिंक ओके यार मुझे भी सीखना था ये तो. ठीक है. एंड कमिंग टू सैटरडे, इस सैटरडे को समथिंग वी विल लर्न. ओके, मोस्ट प्रोबेबली डैशबोर्ड्स, एक्सेल डैशबोर्ड्स ही अभी. ठीक है, बिकॉज देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ गैप इन एक्सेल डैशबोर्ड्स आल्सो. आप लोग उस लेवल पे नहीं हो. सो वी विल रिवाइज सम ऑफ द थिंग्स, एंड कुछ बेसिक, कुछ थोड़ा और एडवांस वी विल डू दैट एक्सेल डैशबोर्ड्स. ओके, आई विल कम्युनिकेट द टाइमिंग्स एंड द अदर थिंग्स.
सर पावर बीआई का जो आपका कोर्स है ना, उसमें लास्ट वाला जो वीडियो आपने जिसमें बताया कि रिपोर्ट्स पब्लिश हो सकती हैं इस तरीके से, देयर आर डिफरेंट वेज टू पब्लिश द रिपोर्ट्स. तो इन द लास्ट देयर वाज वन ऑप्शन फॉर एक्सेल, कि एक्सेल से आप कैसे कर सकते हो थ्रू पावर बीआई.
एनालाइज इन एक्सेल.
हाँ, तो वो लास्ट वाला नहीं, एनालाइजिंग नहीं, पावर बीआई में ही रिपोर्ट्स पब्लिश करने का जो लास्ट सेक्शन है आपका, उसमें एक्सेल वाला पार्ट, तो वो उसमें रिपीटेशन है आपके पहले वाले वीडियो से. नहीं मतलब एक्सेल का नहीं है उसमें. लास्ट वीडियो, बिल्कुल लास्ट.
No problem. I will inform Tanmay and we will check it.
Excuse me, sir. I'm Ram Gopal.
Hi, Ram Gopal. How are you?
Fine, sir. Good evening. I have the two questions. First one, I need the financial formulas. Last time also I asked.
Any particular financial formulas which you are interested? Batao, I can take a session maybe in one of the doubt sessions.
So all financial formulas I have to learn.
All is a very like vague term. Like I don't know all. Simple. उसका simple answer ये है. ठीक है. If you have certain.
No, sir. In that whatever in your session, in that R&D I have done a lot of things. I have to created more than 500 formulas in that in our session. So I built my team also. So in my team around 10 members is there. So in our RVs, I am the assistant manager finance and accounts. So my bottom line 10 people is there. I had improved my team also. So second, so in that financial formulas, some yield function.
Okay. There should be some context. Like I have covered in 1 or 2 courses in corporate trainings some financial formulas, how to calculate.
Second thing, and the second thing is, recently I was learned from ChatGPT. In the ChatGPT, so whatever is a macros and VBA, I don't know anything about for that. So what I requested in the ChatGPT, everything formulas, I mean everything it's coming. So why should we have to learn, sir, in that formulas and that VBA, everything, all program is coming. So yesterday I tried for one thing also. So I tried in the previously I tried a lot of this because of one is my sales every month. Suppose in our organization 172 sales force is there, 172 marketing people is there. So every month I can analyze. So what is sale, what is incentive? So in that I couldn't do for every month. I will do after that I club every month.
Okay.
So all 12 months we required. So I couldn't understand. Yesterday I tried for it in the chat GPT. It is coming that VBA formula. I copy it. I put it in macros. I refresh it. Everything is 90%. I got it.
ठीक है.
So
that way also.
No. Actually, my thing is I have to do my own. So if everything it is come automatic now, our creativeness will come down. Correct, na, sir?
Correct.
So in that, what I have to do?
See, ChatGPT knows macros. ChatGPT knows formulas. ChatGPT knows many other languages. First of all, we don't need all of things. Okay. Now let's take macros. If I simply write a macro that I am having these 10 sheets, which I have, let's say, hidden. And I want to unhide them in one click, because if I unhide, I need to go one by one, at least in the older version of Excel. So if I go there and write unhide all sheets, all hidden sheets, ChatGPT will be able to give a macro, which you don't need to learn. And as I said earlier, again and again, multiple times, that I don't want you to become a programmer. I want you to use programs. That program comes from data science, that programs comes from ChatGPT or any other place. You should know how to use those things. Okay. So use ChatGPT for that purpose. Now, but let's say if you ask ChatGPT, can you analyze this data set? Can ChatGPT give the results? The answer is no. It will give you what all things you can do, but it will not give the analysis. It will not do the pivot tables. You will have to do those things. Okay. So there are certain things where we can use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT for a lot of content creation. Okay. But not the real data analysis and all. At least ChatGPT cannot do. Maybe some other tools can do those things. And you also need to know how you can ask that question so that the answer comes correct. ChatGPT will never give like same result if all of you individually ask the same question. Same question as in same problem you are asking. So maybe Nirmala will put it in different words. Kajal will write it in different words. Ram Gopal will write it in different words. And ChatGPT will defer the response based on what you have asked, although you were asking for the same problem. So some of them may be not the correct results. You need to tweak it. And that's why to do that customization, what should be the VLOOKUP formula? You need to understand how VLOOKUP formula is written. Okay, then only you will be able to tweak those things. So it will help in some things, it will not help in some of the things. And you need to be ready for both the situations. Okay.
Sir, in that VLOOKUP, I have one doubt.
VLOOKUP की बात आया तो VLOOKUP का डाउट आ गया. Okay, बताइए.
Sir, because of I have a lot of doubts. So in the, sir, actually in that VLOOKUP example, VLOOKUP, suppose employee ID is, suppose customer ID is 1. Suppose in the customer ID 20 invoices. If we go for the customer VLOOKUP, first invoice will fetch, correct?
Yes.
So continue, we have to fetch. In that, what we have to do?
What do you want to get the results? What kind of results you want? All of them?
All. Suppose
all the values combined together.
No, I want some quantities.
You want quantities, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
if you mention customer, you need to add the quantities of all the invoices and then get the result, right?
So each invoice wise I required.
Each invoice wise you require.
Because of master sheet, all invoice number quantity is there. One sheet, some invoice quantity is there.
Okay. So if you want invoice wise, use pivot tables. That will give. If you want invoice,
no, I don't want to use. I don't want to use a pivot. I'm trying for that.
Use filter function. If you have Office 365, use filter function. That will give all. Okay. Because VLOOKUP is not made for what you are looking for. Filter function is also of similar category, You can mention, so if you want consolidated results with ignoring the invoices, use sum ifs. Okay. If you want each and every detail, then use pivot table. If you don't want to use pivot tables, filter function can it can extract the lines which are matching your VLOOKUP criteria, that customer code, and then it will give you the lines matching that criteria.
Okay, sir, second thing, offset function where we have to use?
Offset function, like when you create interactive dashboards, you need your data range to be dynamic. And offset function we will use to create dynamic ranges. Now, in the newer version of Excel, because of introduction of those dynamic arrays, the usability of offset function has decreased to a great extent. Otherwise, impact the offset function. So let's say this is your data set, or this is your data set. Okay. Offset function, so your data set is full data set. But with the offset function, you can create a fictitious range which will only cover this much, which can only cover this much, which can only cover this much, or maybe this much, or maybe this much. So offset function is mainly used for creating dynamic ranges. If I give you the syntax of offset function, it says, give me a reference point. So I will say my reference point is this point. Then it says how many rows you want. So I can say I want 5 rows. Then it says how many columns you want. I want 2 columns. Okay. Sorry, this is not rows and columns. This is the movement from the original situation, which okay. So A1 is the starting point from where my data should be selected. But then it is asking, do you want to move from that position in terms of rows? So I can say, no, I don't want to move, start from A1. It is asking me, do you want to move in terms of columns? So currently it is this column. Do you want to move here toward right side? I say that start from the original position. And then it is asking, okay, what is the height of your data? Height is nothing but number of rows. So if I mention, let's say 4 rows, and then it is asking, what is the width of your data? That means it is how many columns. So if I say 3 columns, if I write this, do you see the result? It has given me 4 rows and 3 columns. So many times, maybe I'm not interested in the full data set which is originally there with me. I am interested in some portion of it. And I want to start from a particular position. And maybe I want to select 2 columns, 5 columns, 3 rows, something like that. Now here we have mentioned how many? 4 and 3 manually. But this 4 can be generated through some other logics. Okay. This 3 can also be generated through some other logics. How many we want, we can, maybe user can interact and he can generate 4 and 3 somewhere. And then automatically this range becomes dynamic. If you make this, okay, 8 rows and 6 columns, the data becomes bigger. So the role of offset function is to generate a dynamic range. And generally dynamicity is required in dashboards, because there we don't want to change the basis of our pivot table or our chart manually again and again based on the user interaction, right? It should happen automatically. So this function will help you a lot in those situations.
Excuse me, sequence function also slightly like this, correct?
Which function?
Sequence.
Yes, sequence function is a very small function, but it can be a supporting function for many other functions. Then it becomes powerful. But sequence and offset both are different, totally different. Sequence role is just to generate a series of numbers. Okay. Now, how you can use those numbers? Then it becomes the application of sequence functions becomes powerful. But both are totally different functions.
Fine, sir.
Okay. Next question.
Do we have macros videos for learning macros?
Yes, that will be rolled out very soon. The course is so those like I don't know. It depends on person to person, like who joined when. But if I show you what all things are upcoming for all of you, just a minute, I will open the page. So if you see here, Power Query, then Excel is there, Power BI is there, PowerPoint is ready. We just need to roll it out. Macros is ready. So these two courses are taken by some other trainer because I don't have capabilities to take them, but he is also a Microsoft certified trainer. So these will also be rolled out very soon. Okay. So these are the current 6 courses, and we are like trying our best to add more and more. Some of the things will be developed in-house, and wherever we cannot become an expert, we will look for some other expert. Simple.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So it's been 90 minutes now. Shall we close the call? If something urgent question is not there.
Sir, hello.
Yes, Naresh.
Sir, small doubt. So actually, I'm forgetting the formulas. So is there any simple formula to remember all? Actually, I'm learning the formulas, but some days late, some days later, so I'm forgetting the formulas. So is there any way to remember all the formulas, or how?
So the problem is
what is the
not
simple
of remembering. I used to forget the formulas long back. Okay. You are not facing enough situations to use those formulas. That's the problem. Once you start facing those problems and you don't go manual way, then you will remember them. Okay. Till then, what I want to tell you is do not go for remembering or like making a ratta of the formula. If you at least know the use of the formula, that is good enough. जैसे कि we need to fetch something from the nearby table or nearby sheet or another file. So then we know that VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP will work, right? That much we remember, right? So just type VLOOKUP and then it will guide you what is required next. So here, more you practice, more you will remember. Initially, I was also not remembering. More you practice, more you remember. Then there's another way. Let's say even if you don't remember, you go to formula section or this FX section. Okay, click on it. Type a brief description of what you want to achieve, and it will suggest a formula for you. So let's say I want to fetch a value from other sheet based on common information. Okay. So the way I have asked question, it couldn't generate. So thoda sa is language ko if you master, it will be able to generate at least the name of the functions. Now, name of the functions, utility of the functions, at least remember that much. What is there within the bracket? Don't remember it initially. When you start typing, then those things will come. Okay. Until then, ChatGPT, like Ram Gopal was using ChatGPT, usko bhi use karo. Okay. At least it will guide you to the function, and after that, you practice.
A small suggestion
Sir,
from
one
my
more formula dog also is there, sir.
Formula dog is there, formula bot is there, so many things are there. Okay, don't run after each and everything. I have GPT for Excel, I have show formula bot, I am having here another add-in which is having multiple things. Okay, don't run after each and everything.
Yeah, to remember
First cover the base. Yes, Sumesh, you were suggesting.
And just smaller suggestion. So what I did, I'm just telling. So whatever I learned today, I'll teach 2 to 3 people in my team so that I can remember always.
Yes, and that's how I am remembering all these things.
Thank
Because I
No,
have been
one,
teaching for last 7-8 years.
once our team is strong, we also grow, they also grow. That's all.
Yes.
Yes. So start teaching it to your wife, your spouse. Simple.
Sure,
Start
sir.
वहीं से करो. Your team members. It will really help you. Maybe he will learn or not. That is not a guarantee, but you will learn it for sure.
Yes, sir.
So after learning this, I tried to implement in my team by telling these tricks and everything to my team members. Each one formula or one function to every people in my team.
Yes. And see, invite the garbage work to yourself. If something is not clean, a very complex report is there, you say, I will do it. Okay. And within 2 months, you will remember each and every formula more than what is covered in the course, maybe more than what I know. Invite more complex work and you will become better at it. You are not remembering because you don't have those situations to apply those things. That is the issue. और यू गो फॉर मैनुअल एप्लीकेशन की. ठीक है, फॉर्मूला नहीं आता, मैं मैनुअली कर लेता हूँ, नो प्रॉब्लम. मैं वी लुकअप की तरह जा करके आई विल गो इनटू दैट शीट, आई विल फाइंड दैट यूजिंग फिल्टर एंड देन गिव द आंसर. So stop doing those things, behave lazy, okay? Then only these things will improve.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Sandil.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have worked in a Google project where more than 25 colleges are there. For the students, we need to give some LMS portal from Google, like a Coursera. They need to complete the course by completing the exams. We push them to complete the course. Each and every day, the Excel will be updated, and from the portal, they will be able to download the Excel file. Then I manually go to the Excel file and select the students for the students who has completed all the exams and those who have started taking, and I separated 50%, like out of 28 sheets of questions and answers, they will take some 10 or 15 questions, and I need to manually check and go through every day. So how I can make it as make a automated sheets.
So you download the files wherever Coursera or whichever platform you are using. After downloading them, keep them in a folder. Use Power Query to fetch that and consolidate that data into one single table or two tables, depending on the categories of the data sets. And then use Power BI. You are already having access to Power BI. Then use Power BI to find whatever questions you are asking. Okay, that should be the journey. Complete the course, you will understand a little more, and maybe in the next doubt session or upcoming doubt sessions, you ask those questions by showing the data. Okay.
Yeah, shall I send the sample data to you, sir?
Don't
so
send,
that
send it on the WhatsApp group. Okay. In the Power, we will add you to the Power BI group. I think you are not there. And send it on the WhatsApp group or ask those questions in the doubt session using the files. Okay, but in the next, not now.
Yeah. That time, to your WhatsApp only, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can I able to access this our query, sir?
Mail us and we will respond.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, next question, guys. Power query का topic है कुछ? Anything? Other than the access part, access जिसको मिलना है मिल जाएगा, जिसको नहीं मिलना है वो नहीं मिलेगा. Okay, that we will communicate to each one of you separately. Any conceptual questions on Power Query or any questions? Otherwise, we will call it a day.
So can average, most of the time we use sales total sum of, can you demonstrate if you have any example like average, adding like average in a month? Quality
Average
percentage.
in a month.
Yeah.
So in the pivot table also those functionalities are there. Have you tried that?
Yes, I've tried it, but someday we might have zeros and all for some some month and date. So
you use slicers wherever you are having zeros. Use slicers to uncheck that zero and the remaining values it can average.
okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's another angle, or maybe create an additional column where you can say 0 or not 0, something like that. Like I need to see the data, then only I can respond better. But create some columns which can create a categorization of zeros and non-zero values. Okay. So the slicer will have two values, zero values, non-zero values, and it will filter out those zeros in your averages or other things.
Okay, fine.
Next. Okay. No questions? Then let's stop this session. Thank you very much for attending it. And we will communicate very soon the plan for Saturday and maybe Sunday also together. Evenings we will. Guys. Okay. Okay. So most probably Saturday and Sunday evening, 7 to 10 p.m. we will keep this schedule. Maybe one of the day, maybe both the days. Okay. The information will be shared with you maybe by tomorrow or at the max on Friday. Okay.
Yes, sir.
As I said earlier, complete Excel course before that. At least 70%. जो लोग नए हैं, those people who are new, do not worry. But those people who are there for months, they need to worry about that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Chalo. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Wish you
Good
the
night,
same.
sir.
Bye. Good night.
Good night, sir. Bye bye.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.